on to our top story at this hour that is still developing, and 3 people have been confirmed dead and a number of others taken ill after consuming an unknown concoction at a construction site in Karen. The deaths occurred at the construction site said to belong to ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi, who is currently out of the country. Now, among the dead is Mudavadi's caretaker and employees of the contractor at the site. However, there are conflicting reports about the number of deaths. For more details, we now join our senior reporter Duncan Hemba, who is at our I&M studios in town. Hemba, good morning. Just tell us what you have for us as at now.
Good morning, Grace Kuria. Yes, it's true. We've gotten in touch with the ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi, who is currently out of the country, but has been able to give the information that he says he is aware of. Yes, he has confirmed that there was construction that was going on at his property in Karen, and the incident is said to have occurred on Thursday. Now, what he says is that the police are already seized of the matter, and by virtue of him being out of the country, there are more details that maybe the police could be in a position to give more information. But he says there's the employees, the reason why he doesn't have much details of those who died is that the contractor, normally when they get hold of a contract, they look for own workers, and therefore it's the contractor who might be having details of the victims. But he has confirmed at least one of his 2 caretakers that are usually on the ground was also victim to that incident which occurred on Thursday. And he also says that the information he's been able to gather is that they consumed a substance that was harmful, and the reason now we are having the developing story which we are trying to get details. We are trying to get hold of the police just to know what exactly they've been able to establish so far. And as he has said, the police are in a better position to give more information, more so because Musalia Mudavadi himself is out of the country and will be coming back next week. That is what we've been able to get from him this morning.
Well, Hemba, this incident happened on Thursday, and up until now, Saturday, there's conflicting reports in regard to the number of deaths. We did say there are 3 deaths, but you know, on social media, it puts the toll up to about 6 deaths. What can you tell us about that?
According to Mudavadi, he says 7 people might have been involved in the partaking, or they might have, they were involved in the partaking of that concoction, as you've called it, or the harmful substance, as he has said. And of the 7, what Mudavadi says, he's been properly informed, or he's been briefed. What has been briefed so far is that 7 people undertook, and then 4 have been treated and discharged, although there are reports that some are still in hospital, but he says 4 were treated and discharged, and then 3 died. Now, of the 3, he says only one of the 3 is his caretaker. He says he has 2 caretakers on the ground, so 1 survived, then 1 succumbed after consuming that harmful substance. Then the 2 others, the other 2 victims, only the contractor could be able to give the details of who they are, but he confirms of the 2 caretakers, 1 has died, and then the other 1 survived. Now, we don't know whether the other one is part of the 4 that were treated and discharged, but those are details that we are still trying to piece together just to know what exactly could be the number. But maybe the numbers that are being talked of 6, maybe it's the number that Musalia Mudavadi put as 7 of those who were involved, but of the 7, 4 survived, then 3 died. So according to what he knows, 3 died, and therefore maybe the details that we'll be getting from the police or the respective morgues where the bodies could have been taken, those are details that now maybe our colleagues could be in a position to establish now that they are following up on the same.
Certainly, and of course, thank you very much, Duncan Hayamba, our senior reporter there, reporting to us from our I&M studios. And of course, this is a developing story. And of course, later on in our bulletins, 1 p.m. and later, we will be having more details in regard to that. Now, before we move on, there's a tweet by ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi that came in at around 9:30 a.m. And he indeed confirms, he says, on Thursday, 7 workers on a construction project in which have partnered drank an unknown concoction. Sadly, 3 lost their lives, but 4 have been discharged. The matter has been reported to the police for further investigations. Currently, I'm out of the country, and of course, as I did say, this is a developing story, and of course, keep it KTN for more on that. Now, still on the same story, our Crime and Investigations Unit is following up this story to gather all the details surrounding the current deaths. For now, we want to join our Crime and Investigations reporter, Brian Obuya, who is currently following up on this story. He's at the Umash Funeral Home. And Brian, if you can hear me, tell us what you have gathered so far.
Good morning, Grace. And this indeed is a really unfortunate incident, whether it was a concoction or whatever it was. But what is even more intriguing is the fact that all people, everybody who knows about this story or our reliable sources that we're trying to follow up with, their phones are off, and we are trying to find out why exactly all the phones of those who know about these details, the family, some of the family members, and those who were there, the company that was involved in the construction, none of those phone calls can go through as we speak right now. To this end, we understand that the family members tried to go all the way to Karen police station, whereby where the case was reported, and the ones that carried some of the bodies and the people to allegedly to hospital, and the family members were chased away. That's what they have told us on phone, and we're trying to follow up as much as we can. We'll be heading there in a short while to just try and find out what is their version of the story. But even then, what is disturbing, what is actually raising more questions, is the fact that the families do not have any information on what exactly happened. Even as the numbers continue to conflict, Musalia Mudavadi claims that 4 people have been discharged, but to this end, we have no information on what hospitals these people were taken to, and those who are close to this information have refused to disclose the same. The families say they have not seen their loved ones, and even as ANC leader claims that only three people died. Right now, as we speak, Grace, there are 2 bodies at the Umash Funeral Home. Unclear who brought them here. City Mortuary doesn't have any of those bodies. So we continue to follow up on that trail of these scanty details. Our sources insist that 6 people died, even as ANC leader claims that only 3 died and 4 were discharged. So those 4 who were discharged are the ones we are trying to get in touch with, and we are also trying our best to see if we are able to know where exactly they were, they were admitted, and what the hospitals found. But as we speak right now, it is appearing really difficult to do that, given that strange as it may sound, everybody close to this information has their phones off.
Well, yes, Brian, quite a setback there, especially when you say that their phones are off. But this incident did happen on Thursday, Brian. It is Saturday today. And of course, you did say that the families don't even know much of their kins who are either unfortunately dead or in hospital. Why is this?
It's difficult to actually say why their phones are off, but given that if that narrative that police even did not disclose any information, when the families went to Mudavadi's house, they were told that they can't get in and that there has been no such people at that residence. It could be a clear show of some sort of cover-up that we can't exactly say with conclusivity, but we're trying to follow up and see why exactly their phones are off. It's abnormal, to say the least, that all these people have their phones off, even though nothing stops them from switching off their phones. So in our subsequent bulletins and reportage over the same, we might just be able to get to understand why this is the case. Grace.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Brian, for that. Of course, it's a developing story that we will definitely be keeping tabs with. Our reporter, Brian, tells us of 2 bodies at Umash Funeral Home. And of course, we the tweet, or rather, with the interview we had with the ANC leader, Musalia Mudavadi, he confirmed that there were 3 deaths, but of course unconfirmed reports also speak of 6 deaths in total. And of course later